What up, everybody? You're watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. In today's show, we're going to talk about a Bleacher Report article that highlighted one player from every team that could be cut. They called it the best player on each team that they could move on from. And for the New York Football Giants, it was Rodarius Williams, the third-year cornerback out of Oklahoma State. Been dealing with some injuries throughout his young NFL career, tore his ACL in the 2021 season. Took him a while to get back in the 2022 year. He's flashed at times, and he was really good in camp back in 2021. So we're going to talk about the idea of if cutting Rodarius Williams makes all that much sense. But first, I need you guys to help me out. Share this video for me. We're trying to get the word out about New York Giants Now just a little bit more, and we could use your help. Go down below, click that share button, select the Twitter icon, and click post to Twitter. And if you tag me at @MarshallGreen_, I'm going to give you a retweet and I'm going to give you a follow back. I'm sure you got a lot of people on your Twitter feed that could use some insightful and entertaining Giants content every single day. So do what you do. Help us out. Share this video and tag me on Twitter, and we'll give you a retweet and follow back. All right, let's get into it. What Bleacher Report had to say is Rodarius Williams flashed his ability with 15 tackles in 3 games last season after recovering from an ACL injury. Is the third-year corner part of the Giants' plans, though? His inconsistent usage is concerning, and New York deepened the position this offseason, especially with first-round pick Deonte Banks, the corner out of Maryland. Williams may find that his opportunity to play is elsewhere, and the Giants may look to cut him. And Bleacher Report is 100% right. The Giants' cornerback room, the way it stacks up right now, it doesn't have the most elite top-end talent. I like Adoree Jackson. I like the rookie Deonte Banks. But there are a lot of bodies at this spot. They have 9 players on their cornerback depth chart right now, and this is kind of how I have it stacking up. I got Adoree Jackson at the cornerback 1. I think Darnay Holmes is going to start in the slot at the beginning of the season. Maybe Cordell Flott takes that job, or Aaron Robinson does down the line. I think Deonte Banks, even though he's a rookie, and even though he went at pick number 24, I think he's going to be your starting corner from day one. And then you got backups like Cordell Flott, who you took in the 3rd round in 2022. You got Aaron Robinson, who you took in the 3rd round a couple of years ago. Trey Hawkins, the 6th round pick out of Old Dominion. I'm hearing a lot of good things about him. The Giants think they got a steal in him. Then you got Rodarius Williams. And you got Nick McCloud, who has the ties to Joe Shane dating back to their Buffalo Bills days. And then you got Amani Oruwariye, who you signed early on in NFL free agency. So it's definitely going to be a battle as to see who are the 6 or 7 best corners the Giants are going to keep on this roster. And I could easily see that final cornerback position being up for grabs for one of these 3 guys. So if you had to pick one cornerback to cut for the New York Giants, would it be Rodarius Williams, Nick McCloud, or Amani Oruwariye? Type RW for Rodarius, NM for Nick McCloud, or AO for Amani Oruwariye. The Giants are up against the salary cap. They just had enough money to sign their NFL draft class. Saquon Barkley coming off that franchise tag and getting a long-term deal done could make the Giants have a little more breathing room for this upcoming season. They could always do something with Leonard Williams, who has a $30+ million cap hit this year. But if you were to move on from Rodarius Williams and you cut him after June 1st, the Giants would save $940,000 with only having $43K in dead money. And also the other guys we showed you, Amani Oruwariye and Nick McCloud, are in this same kind of range as well, where you save about $900,000 to $1 million and have minimal dead cap penalties. Let's look at what Rodarius Williams has done, though, in his 2 years in the NFL. Like we talked about, injuries have somewhat riddled his career early on. He's played in just 8 games overall, but he has 16 tackles. He's a physical corner. He can make plays near or around the line of scrimmage. Has 1 interception, 2 pass breakups, but he's kind of been picked on in coverage. In those 8 games that he's playing, he's been thrown at 20 times, and a completion has resulted 15 times. He's also allowed a touchdown. Not that versatile of a corner. He's mainly an outside guy. He can play in the slot a little bit, but the numbers here aren't all that eye-popping, and definitely don't tell me that the Giants have to keep him around. Maybe he gets cut. We'll take a look at Amani Oruwariye and Nick McCloud's numbers and a sneaky potential cap cut coming up in a second. But if the Giants make a move, if they do cut Rodarius Williams, Nick McCloud, Amani Oruwariye, or somebody else, that's a tough name. We are going to break it down on this channel. When the Giants make a move, we make a video. Subscribe to stay up to date on everything surrounding the New York Giants and help us get to 28.5 thousand subs. 58 subs away. Hit that sub button. Help us get there. 30K. Here we come. Some of my thoughts about Rodarius Williams is in 2021, when he was a rookie coming out of Oklahoma State, he had raving reviews in camp. Go back to what Adoree Jackson, a veteran at the time, his first season with the New York Giants, what he had to say about Rodarius Williams. He was like, he's like a vet. I learned something from him in practice. And he's obviously the brother of Greedy Williams, so he's got some NFL DNA there. And obviously he was respected amongst his teammates. But the injuries have just hurt Rodarius Williams. He's only been able to get on the field 8 times in 2 seasons. He also tore his ACL in his first season, which stunk after he had a really good camp. So he just hasn't had the greatest start to his NFL career. Is there talent there? Yes, he has the size. He's got the speed. He's got the strength. He's got the DNA. Just hasn't been able to work out because the best ability is availability. So we compared Rodarius Williams to Amani Oruwariye and Nick McCloud. Let's talk about Ayo. This is a guy that he has a knack for the football. I mean, this past year, he didn't have an interception, but he had 3 pass breakups. But the year before, in 2021 with the Detroit Lions, he had 6 interceptions and 11 pass breakups. But my problem and beef with Amani Oruwariye is he is very grabby and holdy. The guy has 25 penalties in his career. He had 10 penalties in 2022, 8 penalties in 2021, and 7 penalties in 2020, and he doesn't really play in the slot. Only 17 slot snaps this past year, so the versatility may hurt him. He's a true outside corner, and for that reason, I definitely think he could be a cut candidate for the New York Giants. Then when you compare him to a guy like Nick McCloud, who the Giants obviously have an affinity for, the Giants brought him over from Buffalo to New York when Joe Shane and Brian Daboll came over from Buffalo, and although Nick McCloud wasn't great last year, he was solid, and he's versatile as well. He's a good teammate. He's coachable. He works hard. He can play in the slot. He can play outside. 132 snaps last year at that slot position. He's also a physical corner. 43 tackles in 14 games, 7 pass breakups, but he did allow 3 touchdowns. Not the stickiest guy in coverage, but a serviceable depth piece and a guy that can contribute also on special teams. The sneaky cut candidate I have for the Giants at the quarterback position is Darnay Holmes, the slot corner out of UCLA. You could save almost $3 million if you do move on from Darnay Holmes, but he's your number 1 slot corner. He's not a great slot corner to say that at all, but he has experience and the most reps at that spot. Like Oruwariye, my beef with Darnay Holmes is he gets called for too many holding penalties. 9 penalties for Darnay Holmes in 2022. I am tired of seeing Darnay Holmes hold CeeDee Lamb in coverage when they get matched up in that slot position. Also, a lot of 61% completion percentage, which is actually pretty good, but 8 PBUs, which is good, but he allowed 435 yards and 1 touchdown this past year. If I had to make a prediction as to what Giant corner that we've talked about is or could get cut, I do side with Bleacher Report on this one. I do think it would be Rodarius Williams. They just signed Amani Oruwariye this past offseason. They're going to give him a clean slate. They're going to let him work out the kinks in the offseason and through the offseason mini camps and training camps and OTAs. I think he's safe. I think Nick McCloud has done enough to help this team last year, built up a little bit of real estate, and he has that trust with this coaching staff. And Rodarius Williams, the injuries have just not been there. I think he might actually be the most talented of those guys, but you got to stay on the field if you're going to be healthy. One more time, we'll take a look at this depth chart. I think Jackson, Holmes, Banks, Flott, Robinson, Hawkins are all going to make this team. That's 6 guys right there. Then you're battling between 3 guys for that 7th spot, between Williams, McCloud, and Oruwariye. Giants are going to have to make some difficult decisions. They're actually deeper than they were last year and a much more talented football team. And we'll keep you up to date here on the channel for everything the Giants do this offseason, but you can also stay in the loop also on my Twitter, @MarshallGreen_. Give me a follow over there, and let's talk some Giants football. We'll see you later.